everyone, this video is a Math OED2 video. This is on section 1.2, which teaches you how to graph lines by finding the X and Y intercept. I wanted to work this problem because we're going to end up with one of our intercepts that doesn't give you an integer number. So let's get started. Remember, your X and Y intercepts are two different points. You should also remember that to find the X-intercept, you need to set Y equal to 0. And then to find your Y-intercept, you need to set X equal to 0. Okay? You also need to remember that the X-intercept is going to come out like this. It's going to be some number, comma, 0. And that the Y-intercept, when you do it, is going to be 0, comma, some number. Okay? So let's get started. Let's start out with the X-intercept, which is where we set Y equal to 0 and solve. If I put 0 here in place of Y, then I'm going to have 0 equals 3/5 X minus 2. Okay, so then I'm going to add 2 to both sides, plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so now we have 2 equals 3/5 X. Okay, if you recall, the way to get rid of a fraction like 3/5 is to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about. 5 times 2 is 10 over 3. So X is not a integer, right? It's not a whole number that's positive, negative, or 0. So if we want to write our X-intercept here, let's write it in pink so it stands out. Okay, then our X-intercept is 10/3, comma, 0. Now, 10/3, if you write it as a mixed number, is 3 1/3. And if you tried to put that in your calculator, 10 over 3, it's like 3.333 going on forever. Okay, now if you're working with pencil and paper, clearly, you could come over here and plot it and just sort of eyeball it, right? It would be an approximation. So if I'm trying to plot 3 1/3, that would be maybe like right about here, right? So that would be 10/3, comma, 0. Now the problem comes is if you're using software, right? If you're on My Open Math, as far as I know, it only lets you plot integers, right? It has to the points have to land exactly on one of these little grid marks here, right? You can't have points that are sort of somewhere in between. So what do you do if you are on Mom and you get a problem like this and it doesn't have a whole number? Okay, well, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to pick a different method to graph it. So let's go back and look at the 3 methods of graphing. Okay, so if you do your graphing and you try the X and Y intercepts, okay, and it gives you non-integer numbers, then what you're going to have to do is either use a table of values or you're going to have to use the slope-intercept form, okay? Otherwise, the software will not let you graph 3 1/3 or whatever your fraction may be, okay? All right, let's keep going just to finish this problem. All right, so we found the X-intercept, which was 10/3, comma, 0. We want to find the Y-intercept, again, by letting X be equal to 0. So this way, we have Y equals 3/5 times 0 minus 2. Okay, so that means that Y is equal to negative 2. Okay, so that's the number that goes right here. And then we have that point right here. Okay, and then we could connect these lines, those points in a line. Okay, which I did not do a good job of. There we go. Okay, and again, remember, as you draw this on your paper, okay, you need to make sure that your line is extending the whole space that you're provided to graph and that you're using arrows to indicate endpoint. Your line is extending in both directions. Okay. So, let's talk about if this was a problem in Mom, right, and you can't use this method, which method would be the easiest? All right, so if we go back and look at this function here, y equals 3/5 x minus 2, hopefully you can see that it's already in slope-intercept form. So if, instead of using the X and Y intercept method, I had used the slope-intercept form, then I can get integer numbers. And if you want a formal introduction to using the slope-intercept form, please watch that video. Okay, otherwise, this is not working. Otherwise, you can just watch this right here. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. So we're going to graph our y-intercept first. Our y-intercept is 0, -2. Okay, and then we're going to use the 3/5 to find subsequent points. So that means that we're going to go up 3 units and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to get our second point. Okay, and both of those land on integer points. Okay, and then we can graph them. So the first point we found here was our y-intercept. Again, we went up 3 units and over 5 units, and I believe that lands us at x equals 1, y equals 5. Okay, so what I'm trying to get at here is that you might, as you're working through your online homework, have to have some versatility in using or changing which of these 3 methods you use, depending on the equation that you're given. Okay, so if you use one method, like for example the X and Y intercept method, and it doesn't give you the integer numbers you need for mom, okay, then try one of these other methods. Likewise, if you try the slope-intercept form, and that for some reason doesn't work or isn't giving you whole numbers, then try one of these other 2 methods, okay?